My 8-year-old granddaughter whispered, "They left me, alone." It was 2 a.m. She wasn't crying. She was past that. Her voice was flat. Like something had already broken. "They went to Disney," she said. "And they locked the door." I sat up instantly. "My name is Richard Hale. I'm 64. Who's with you?" I asked. Silence. Then a breath. "No one." That word hit different. Not confusion. Not a mistake. Something colder. "Do you have food?" "A little." "Do you know how to unlock the door?" "No." I was already moving. "Shoes. Keys. Phone. Did they tell anyone you were alone?" "I don't think so." Of course they didn't. Because this doesn't happen once. This builds. Did this ever happen before? A pause. Then quietly. Yes. That's when it clicked. Not a bad decision. A pattern. How long are they gone? Until Sunday. It was Thursday. 4 days. For days a child was locked inside a house, alone. No more questions. I booked the first flight. Didn't call my son. Not yet. Because if I was right, I wasn't walking into a situation. I was walking into evidence. The house was too quiet. No TV. No lights. No movement. Skyla opened the door from the inside. She stepped back immediately. Like she was used to making space. That told me more than anything she could say. "Hey," I said. She nodded. No hug. No smile. Just relief, and something else. Caution. I stepped inside. The air felt stale. Closed up. "Have you been outside?" I asked. She shook her head. I didn't know if I was allowed. Allowed. That word stayed with me. I walked through the living room slowly. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Couch cushions straight. Table clean. No mess anywhere. Not the house of a child left alone for hours. "Where did you sleep?" I asked. She pointed to the couch. There was a blanket. Folded. Neatly. Not used. I looked at her. "You didn't sleep here." She hesitated. Then quietly. "I didn't sleep." Something tightened in my chest. I kept walking. Kitchen. Clean counters. No dishes. No signs of breakfast. "Did you eat?" I asked. She opened the fridge. Half empty. A bottle of juice. 1 yogurt. Takeout box. No prepared food. No note. No plan. That wasn't forgetfulness. That was absence. I opened cabinets. Nothing a child could make alone. I didn't say anything. Not yet. "Did your mom call?" I asked. She shook her head. "Dad?" Another shake. "Of course." I moved down the hallway. Family photos lined the wall. Smiling faces. Vacations. Birthdays. Holidays. I slowed down. Looked closer. One detail. Small. But wrong. Alex was in almost every photo. Front. Center. Laughing. Skyla. Wasn't. I counted without thinking. 1. 2. That was it. 2 photos. Out of at least 10. In one, she stood at the edge. Half out of frame. Like she hadn't been meant to be there. I glanced back at her. She was watching me. Careful. Like she already knew what I was seeing. I don't like that one, she said quietly. I nodded. Why? She shrugged. I look like I don't belong. 8 years old. And she already had the language for it. I felt something settle into place. Not anger. Not yet. Recognition. I stepped closer to the wall. Studied every photo again. Different trips. Different years. Same pattern. Same absence. That wasn't random. That was consistent. Skyla, I said. She looked up. When they left, what exactly did they say? She thought about it. Carefully. They said I had school. I waited. And Alex? She looked down. He didn't. There it was. Small. Quiet. But it didn't match. That's when the house stopped feeling empty. And started feeling wrong. Skyla didn't follow me right away. She stayed in the kitchen. Watching. Like she was waiting to see what I'd do next. That wasn't normal. Kids talk. They fill silence. She didn't. Come here, I said. She walked over slowly. Not hesitant. Careful. Like she'd learned to measure reactions. Has this happened before? I asked. She didn't answer. Not right away. She looked at the floor. Then at the wall of photos. Then back at me. Sometimes. Not once. Not twice. Sometimes. I nodded. Tell me one. She took a breath. In September, they went camping. With Alex. And you? I stayed with Mrs. Patterson. The neighbor. Did you want to go? A small shrug. They said I had a sleepover. I waited. It got cancelled. And they still went. She nodded. No anger. No confusion. Just acceptance. That was worse. I walked into the hallway again. Looked at the photos. Camping. There it was. A framed picture. Anthony. Natalie. Alex. Firelight. Smiles. No Skyla. Same trip. Same story. Different version. I felt it lock into place. One event could be explained. Two, less so. But this? This was building. Anything else? I asked. She didn't hesitate this time. My birthday. That came fast. Too fast. What about it? We had cake. At home. I said nothing. She kept going. Just us. No excitement in her voice. No memory. Just a statement. And Alex? She looked up at me. He went to a hotel. What kind? The one with the water park. I knew the one. Expensive. Loud. Celebrated. And when was that? Last year. 5 months apart. Same year. Different rules. I leaned against the wall. Let that sit. Budget wasn't the issue. Priority was. Did you ask why? I said. She nodded. And? They said it was too expensive. Of course they did. That's always the answer when the truth sounds worse. I walked back into the living room. Sat down slowly. My mind was already organizing it. Trip. Birthday. Photos. 3 separate points. Same direction. Skyla, I said. She looked at me. School events. Her eyes shifted. There was a play. When? December. Did they come? Dad came for a little. And your mom? She stayed with Alex. For hockey. I closed my eyes for a second. Not long. Just enough. Because now it wasn't a suspicion anymore. It was structure. Consistent. Repeated. Predictable. And the worst part? She expected it. No shock. No outrage. Just quiet adjustment. Like she had already rewritten her place in that house. Skyla, I said carefully. She looked at me again. How many times have they gone somewhere, without you? This time she didn't hesitate. She looked up at the ceiling. Counting. 1 finger. 2. 3. She stopped. A lot. That wasn't a number. That was a history. I didn't write anything down. Didn't need to. Because at this point, it wasn't about proving something happened. It was about proving it kept happening. And that changed everything. I didn't confront them. Not yet. You don't accuse without proof. You build it. Skyla, I said, keeping my voice even. When they left this time, did they tell anyone? She shook her head. Did Mrs. Patterson know you were alone? A pause. Then quieter. She thought I was sleeping over. There it was. Not just neglect. A lie. Who told her that? Mom. Of course. I stepped back. That changed the situation completely. Because now this wasn't careless. It was planned. Did they leave you a key? I asked. She shook her head. No. Food? Another shake. No. I looked toward the kitchen. Empty fridge. No instructions. No backup plan. Nothing. You don't prepare a child for 4 days by accident. You prepare. Or you don't care. Skyla, I said. When they locked the door, were you inside? She nodded slowly. I heard it. A click. From the outside. I felt something shift. Final. Cold. Because that removed the last excuse. This wasn't, we thought she'd be fine. This was containment. You couldn't leave, I said. It wasn't a question. No. And they knew that. She didn't answer. Didn't need to. I walked back to the hallway. Looked at the photos again. This time differently. Not memories. Evidence. Every missing frame. Every placement. Every small exclusion. It all lined up. Skyla, I said. She came closer. Did they ever say why you don't go with them? She hesitated. Then repeated it exactly. Like she'd heard it too many times. They say I make things harder. Harder. For who? For trips, she added. For plans. I nodded slowly. There it was. The justification. Not loud. Not cruel. Worse. Practical. Convenient. I walked into the living room. Sat down. Looked at her. Skyla, are you adopted? Her eyes flickered. Just for a second. Then she nodded. Yes. That was it. The missing piece. Not about money. Not about timing. Not about school. About choice. One child theirs. One child, optional. I leaned back. Everything I'd seen made sense now. The photos. The trips. The birthdays. The absence. It wasn't random. It was selective. Deliberate. Did they ever tell you that? I asked. She shook her head. No. They just say I'm different. Different. I repeated that word in my head. Not angry. Not emotional. Just storing it. Because now I had it. Motive. Pattern. Action. And a child who had already learned how to disappear quietly inside her own home. That raised the stakes. Not for them. For me. Because once you see something like this, you don't walk away from it. You act. And I already knew how. I didn't ask another question. Not right away. Some things, you don't rush. Skyla went back to the table. Opened her little puzzle book. Like nothing had happened. That was the problem. For her, this was normal. Skyla, I said. She looked up. When was the last time they hugged you? She blinked. Not confused. Searching. I don't remember. That hit harder than anything else. Not the trips. Not the door. That. Because kids remember that. Unless it stops happening. I kept my voice steady. Do they tell you they love you? A pause. Then. Sometimes. Sometimes. I nodded once. Do they say it to Alex? She didn't even think. All the time. Of course they do. I looked at her hands. Small. Still. No fidgeting. No nervous movement. Just, still. Like she'd learned not to ask for anything. Skyla, I said quietly. When you're upset, who do you go to? She looked at me. Straight. You. That wasn't new. That wasn't from today. That was already established. Which meant something worse. She'd already tried them. And it hadn't worked. I felt it then. Not anger. Not yet. Something heavier. Final. Tell me about your birthday, I said. She looked down. We had cake. I waited. At home. And after? She shrugged. I went to my room. No friends. No gifts. No memory. Just, over. And Alex? Her voice changed slightly. They went out. Where? A big place. Did you go? She shook her head. No. Why? She hesitated. Then said it. They said it was just for him. Just for him. Simple. Clean. No room for misunderstanding. I leaned back slowly. Let that sit. Because now it wasn't about patterns anymore. It was about position. Her place in that house. Skyla, I said. She looked up again. If something good happens, who do they celebrate first? She didn't smile. Alex. If something bad happens. A pause. Then quietly. Me. There it was. Clear. Undeniable. Not emotion. Not interpretation. Structure. Reward one child. Blame the other. I stood up. Walked to the hallway again. Looked at that Christmas photo. Red sweaters. All matching. Except her. Blue. Off to the side. I saw it clearly now. Not a mistake. A message. You're not part of this. I turned back to her. She was watching me again. Careful. Always careful. Skyla, I said. Did they ever tell you why they chose you? She froze. Just for a second. Then shook her head. No. I nodded slowly. Because I already knew. They didn't choose her. Not really. They added her. And then, adjusted around her. Until she became background. Optional. Convenient to leave behind. That was the truth. And once you see that truth, there's no going back. No fixing. No explaining it away. Only one question left. What do you do with it? I already had the answer. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't call them. I started preparing. Quietly. Skyla, I said. Go get your shoes. She looked at me. Are we leaving? Yes. No explanation. No discussion. She nodded. That was enough. I packed a small bag for her. Clothes. Toothbrush. The puzzle book. Nothing that would be missed immediately. Nothing that would alert them. Control starts small. I checked the house one more time. Doors. Windows. Locks. Everything exactly how they left it. I wasn't here to disturb the scene. I was here to document it. I took out my phone. Photographed the kitchen. Empty fridge. No prepared meals. The hallway. Every photo. Every placement. The Christmas frame. The blue sweater. Then I opened my recorder. Thursday. 5:12 p.m. Child left without supervision. No accessible exit. No food preparation. Pattern indicators confirmed. I stopped. Put it away. Skyla came back with her shoes on. She didn't ask again. Didn't question anything. That told me everything. She was used to being moved around. Not included in decisions. That would change. But not yet. Stay close, I said. She did. I locked the door behind us. Same way they had. Click. That sound mattered. Details matter. In court, details win. In life, too. We drove in silence. She watched the road. Not scared. Just, waiting. I didn't fill the silence. I was already building the case. Timeline. Events. Contradictions. Trip. Birthday. Camping. Photos. Now, physical neglect. And one more thing. I pulled out my phone. Called Mrs. Patterson. She answered on the third ring. Hello. Mrs. Patterson, this is Richard. Skyla's grandfather. Oh, yes, hello. Her voice was warm. Unaware. I wanted to confirm something, I said calmly. Were you told Skyla would be staying with you this week? A pause. Then confusion. No. I was told she had a sleepover. There it was. Clean. Uncomplicated. Did anyone ask you to check on her? No. Did you know she was alone? What? I ended the call. No need to push. I had what I needed. Independent confirmation. No supervision arranged. No safety net. Just a child, left. I glanced at Skyla. She was looking out the window. Quiet. Still processing everything. I shifted focus. Next step. I opened my laptop that evening. Sat at the table. Skyla asleep on the couch. Finally. Safe enough to sleep. That mattered. I started writing. Not a story. A petition. De facto custodianship. Emergency basis. Grounds. Neglect. Patterned exclusion. Emotional harm. I listed everything. Precise. Measured. No emotion. Emotion doesn't win cases. Facts do. Then I attached evidence. Photos. Audio notes. Timeline. Every detail in place. I stopped once. Looked at her. Small. Curled under a blanket. Holding that puzzle book. Even in her sleep. Like she expected to be interrupted. That settled it. No hesitation left. No doubt. This wasn't revenge. Not really. It was correction. Quiet. Controlled. Irreversible. They just didn't know it yet. They called the next morning. I let it ring. Then again. And again. 4 times in under 10 minutes. No messages at first. Just pressure. Then my son finally left one. "Hey, Dad. I'm guessing Skyla called you." Of course she did. Look, it's not what it sounds like. It never is. I didn't call back. Not yet. I wanted them to sit in it. Uncertainty builds faster than anger. At 12:43, he tried again. Shorter this time. More edge. "Dad, pick up." I stayed quiet. At 1:15, Natalie called. Her voice was tight. Controlled. We made arrangements. She was safe. "No, you didn't. You assumed. And that's worse." At 1:47, he called again. Background noise. Crowd. Music. Disney. That part mattered. "Don't make this into a big thing," he said. "She's fine. You being there actually helps." Helps. Like this was convenient. Like I was part of the plan. I saved the message. Every word. Every tone. Then I pressed record again. Thursday. 1:48 p.m. Parents aware of situation. Minimizing response. No concern expressed for child's condition. I stopped. That was enough for now. Skyla was sitting at the table. Drawing. Quiet again. She didn't ask who called. She already knew. "They're coming back Sunday?" I asked. She nodded. "Yes." "Good. That gave me time. Time to file. Time to position. Time to control the room before they even walked in. I made 2 calls. First, to the court clerk. Verified filing time. Confirmed emergency hearing availability. Friday morning. Approved. Second, to an attorney I trusted. Not to represent me. Just to witness. Sharp. Neutral. Exactly what I needed. By evening, everything was in motion. Petition submitted. Evidence attached. Clock started. They still thought this was a conversation. It wasn't. It was a process. And processes don't argue. They conclude. At 7:52 p.m. my son called again. I answered this time. "Dad." Relief in his voice. "Too early." "How is she?" he asked. That was his first question. "Too late." "She's safe," I said. Pause. Then I shifted. "Anthony, when was the last time she went with you on a trip?" Silence. Not confusion. Delay. "We've been busy," he said. I let that sit. Then. Camping. September. Nothing. Her birthday. Cake at home. Still nothing. Christmas photo. Blue sweater. I could hear it now. Breathing changed. Pressure building. I didn't realize, he started. "You did," I said. Not louder. Just sharper. And you kept doing it. Silence again. Longer this time. Then quieter. I didn't think it was that bad. There it was. The crack. Not denial. Recognition. Too late. We'll talk Sunday, I said. No, he replied quickly. We can fix this. Fix. That word again. They always think it's fixable. Not this time. It's already moving, I said. He didn't understand. Yet. You're overreacting, he said. Predictable. I almost smiled. No, I said calmly. I'm documenting. That landed. Because he knows what that means. He grew up watching me do it. Cases. Patterns. Evidence. Silence. Then one question. Tight. Controlled. What did you do? I looked at Skyla. Still drawing. Still quiet. I started, I said. What should have been started a long time ago. I ended the call. No explanation. No warning. They'd get that soon enough. In writing. And by the time they read it, it would already be too late. They walked in Sunday afternoon. Sunburned. Smiling. Like nothing had happened. Skyla didn't move. Didn't run to them. That landed harder than anything I could say. Hey, my son started. I stepped in. Check your mailbox. He frowned. Went outside. Came back with the envelope. Opened it. Read. Sat down. Just, sat. Natalie went pale. You can't be serious. I am. No anger. No raised voice. Just fact. I filed for custodianship, I said. Emergency basis. Silence. Heavy. Final. I have records, I added. Photos. Dates. Calls. My son didn't argue. Didn't deny it. He just nodded. Small. Defeated. I didn't see it, he said quietly. I know, I replied. That was the problem. The hearing was 2 weeks later. No drama. No fight. He didn't contest. The judge didn't hesitate. Decision entered. Effective immediately. I walked out with Skyla beside me. She didn't ask questions. Not anymore. In the car, she looked at me. Am I staying with you? Yes. A pause. Then softly. Am I your first choice? I kept my eyes on the road. You're my only choice. She nodded. That was enough. Thank you for listening. Calm justice doesn't shout. It keeps records.